Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Chrissy Small, and in today's news, the Southern Link causes a right royal mayoral telling off. I speak with the new Neyland principal, plus public opinion from the streets of Nelson. A missing French tourist last seen in Motueka has now been found. Police are happy to advise they have located and spoken to Simon Poyet, who was previously listed as missing by his concerned family in France, who had not had any contact with him for over 3 weeks after they had been maintaining a regular weekly contact. And searchers have located a 69-year-old Picton man, Edward Raneria Sims, who went missing on Tuesday. He was found at Midi Hut on Wednesday afternoon around midday. He was picked up by helicopter and reunited with his companions. It appears he may have taken a wrong turn on the trail. Police would like to thank those involved in Wednesday's successful search operation. A Nelson couple have been charged with obstructing police after aiding and abetting wanted man Chassie Duncan, formerly of Stoke, who police captured on Monday at the couple's house. The man had evaded police for more than a month and was found hiding in a ceiling cavity at the couple's Nelson home around 1:45 p.m. Monday, after being at large since December the 28th. Duncan has been charged with escaping custody and will face a charge in relation to the original warrant for the breaching of conditions of his electronically monitored bail. It is understood that information provided by the public played a part in his recapture. And finally, police have arrested an 18-year-old Nelson man on Wednesday in relation to the aggravated robbery of a German tourist in the early hours of February the 4th in the city. The man had sustained a beating from 2 men who attacked and robbed him. This is the second person charged with this aggravated robbery, and he will be appearing in the Nelson District Court on Monday the 16th of February. The new Neyland College principal, Daniel Wilson, has been in the job less than 3 months and was in the local news recently talking about the school, the falling role and some new goals. The article brought a response from some on the online news site that left Mr Wilson stating that only a snapshot of the conversation had been printed, and when taken out of context can give a totally different meaning. So I went and spoke to the new principal to let him talk about the school and the new goals that he is hoping to achieve. Daniel Wilson, you're the new principal here at Neyland College. Now, you've come all the way from Manurewa. What kind of differences does that mean for you here?
Lots of differences, really. Certainly personal differences. My wife and our 2 children, myself, have lived in Auckland for, well, on and off really for 20 years. So coming to Nelson in itself is a massive change for us. We've lived in London and we've lived in Auckland. I grew up in Te Awamutu in the Waikato. My wife's from Invercargill. So Nelson's sort of quite plonk in the middle of Invercargill and Auckland, really. Look, it's just such a beautiful city and a really big lifestyle change for us as a family. So personally, it's been a wonderful experience, and we've loved every moment of the last month.
You've come to this school and you've had a look around. What is it that you really like about it? What have you seen that you think is really working well?
Oh, where do I start? Look, there's so much to love about what's going on at the school. We just had a news yesterday that we had 16 scholarships. One of those was outstanding last year. So look, there's fabulous learning going on at all levels of the school. The great thing I think I love about the school is that we cater right through from students with learning support needs right through to those top scholarship students. New Zealand, I think, is quite unique as a country in that our education system's required to teach students right across the board the spectrum. That's trades and academic, and students going off to all sorts of different pathways. And I think Neyland College has been wonderful at doing that, at creating opportunities for students from all different backgrounds and walks of life, and having a learning program that caters for everybody, which is so important, obviously, in today's world, where students can change career so many times throughout their lifetimes.
Now, Daniel, you've got some goals set now that you've been here for a couple of months nearly. What are those goals, and how are you going to try and achieve those?
Okay, so I co-constructed with the board a set of goals for the school. The school's always had goals, obviously, as part of our charter and annual plan. We had 9 goals last year, and I've refined those myself and the board have refined those back to just 3 main ones. And they're really based around the government goals for education as well. So the first one is around achievement, making sure that we're doing the best we can possibly do for all students in terms of our achievement in the classroom. The second is strengthening the pastoral systems of the school and just ensuring that every student feels safe at every moment of the day. And the third is around the cultural identity of the school and ensuring that all students from all walks of life and all cultures feel included in what we do here at the school.
Now, Daniel, we all know that throughout New Zealand we have a drug issue with some of our high school students. Is that a big problem here?
It's an interesting question, actually, because I think there are some misconceptions about the school and the community. I spoke to a member of the public the other day and they said to me, I wouldn't send my students to your school because I think you've got a drug problem. And I said, well, where's the evidence to back that up? I certainly don't see it. I've been through the data from last year and there were very, very minimal cases of drugs in the school. Actually, I was really coming from South Auckland, where it's not a major problem, but it is a bit of a problem. I was actually stunned at how little drugs there were within the school. So I think there are misconceptions there, possibly around drugs in schools, or in this particular school, and I think the school's been really good at, if there have been problems, I'm jumping on it really quickly and getting the help and the support and what's needed to ensure that those students are drug free as well. So I haven't seen it as a particular problem. It's a problem in every single school across the country, but I certainly don't see that it's a major problem at the school.
Tell me just quickly, what are the benefits of co-education that you believe exist here within the school?
Another interesting question, actually, because I got asked this by a reporter the other day, and she took snippets of my conversation and put them in a newspaper article. Look, I've never taught in a single-sex school, and I know that there's obviously the choice for parents in Nelson as to whether they go to the boys' school or the girls' school or the co-ed opportunities available in the city as well. And what I want is that every school in Nelson is performing at the very highest level. There's no reason why any students in this city shouldn't get the best education possible, no matter what school they choose to go to. So that's really my focus. For some students, that's going to be co-education, and it's going to suit them much better. For other students, it may be a single-sex education that suits them better. The parents need to have that choice, and it's wonderful they do have that choice. And my job is to ensure that the students that choose to go to this school are getting the best learning outcomes possible for them.
An environmental court ruling in 2004 categorically stated that the Southern Link is not the place for a main arterial route through the Victory community. Recent studies have shown that vehicle emissions are detrimental to the health of those who live next to main highways. However, it appears that now the airshed quality, which is the measurement for emissions, is below the national standard due to the banned use of wood burners in the region. And now that the powers that be, including local MP Nick Smith, are saying that the Southern Link should now proceed. Some Victory residents have spoken to media about this and have said that the highway would be devastating for the community, with the planned highway creating a link between Wakatū Drive and Queen Elizabeth II Drive, effectively linking the city to the port, helping to reduce traffic, particularly noisy logging trucks, through the waterfront suburb of Te Hunanui, but the proposed route would literally cut the suburb of Victory in half. We took to the streets of Nelson to ask people their thoughts on this proposed highway link.
What do you think about Southern Link proceeding through the Victory community?
In my opinion, Nelson doesn't have a huge traffic issue. It gets all stuck down the end of Waimea Road, and the lights slow things down as well because the merging lanes are inefficient. So I don't think we really need it, and it's a lovely resource to have that area for the locals so we can ride our bikes, take our dogs and our kids along there.
I think the Southern Link is the most stupid idea, but that's typical of the sort of stuff that Nick Smith does. It's 2015, it's not 1980 or anything. We need to get the emissions down, we need public transport. It's a railway reserve. Let's make something that works as a railway system. It'll cost more and take a bit of time, but we've just got to do what's best for the future. I think that it'll ruin that community up there, but like with all things in the world, it's about money, so the real estate will go up there, and that's what will happen to it. But I'm doing everything I can to stop it. I don't think it's a good idea. In Auckland they put another motorway in, 2 years later it's clogged up, they put another one in. Motorways don't work. Some parts of the world are taking them out. So dead against it. I'll be up there with my loudspeaker to stop that, and yeah, I'm real active on that. Thank you.
Meanwhile, this week, Mayor Rachel Rees accused some members of council as politicking after they openly criticised Nelson MP Nick Smith's treatment of the Southern Link with an open letter to the local newspaper on December the 26th, which accused Smith of doing the NZTA no favours when he suggested it's only a matter of time before the road is built, and he did Nelson a disservice when he spoke about the project as if it was inevitable. Councillors Luke Ackland, Ruth Copeland, Kate Fulton, Matt Lowry and Brian McGurk, Pete Rainey and Mike Ward penned the letter. And the Mayor said at the Nelson City Council Regional Transport Committee meeting that politicking undermined public confidence in the Council's ability to make considered decisions. She said to those present, which included two involved with the letter, Copeland and McGurk, that sending a letter to media during the holiday season without discussion of all members of council during a hearings and submissions process was in her mind politicking and fell short of her expectation of service to the community. Victory has also been in the spotlight over the wholesale alcohol store that had been operating until recently on an expired licence after the company that held it was struck off the company's register in November last year, but now it seems may still apply for a new licence. There is a meeting this week at the Victory Community Centre to inform people how they can oppose any attempts to reopen the store. The off-licence is across from the local park and in close vicinity to schools. There are concerns that drunkenness and antisocial behaviour have increased in the area since the store had opened. Police are ready for Cricket World Cup action to begin and are calling on the New Zealand public to play their part in creating a fun ICC Cricket World Cup 2015. Superintendent Sandra Manderson, National Commander of Police's Cricket World Cup operations, said the tournament will be the biggest sporting event in the world in 2015. New Zealand Police have been working very closely with a number of partner agencies, including their colleagues in Australia, to create a safe and a secure environment throughout this tournament. But they need the New Zealand public to play their part by providing a warm and friendly welcome to our international guests. A great example is the way we drive around New Zealand. There will be thousands of extra international visitors navigating our unique and sometimes narrow roads and could lead to increased travel times, particularly in parts of the South Island. Police say leave early, be patient and show courtesy to our international visitors so everyone can get safely from A to B to enjoy the cricket. Police will also be working with security staff at the match venues to ensure a safe and secure environment at the match venues. There will be no tolerance of any individual that enters the field of play without authority, and anyone convicted of invading the pitch at the Cricket World Cup is liable to imprisonment for a term of up to 3 months or a fine not exceeding $5,000. And finally, Leonard caught up with a busker outside the museum in Nelson this week and discussed Council's 30-minute rule.
This is Jeremy, a busker from France. How long have you been here today, Jeremy?
I've been here from just 30 minutes ago, and I started playing music in street for people of Nelson.
And do you think people are generous in this economy? Do they give you a lot of money?
Yeah, usually people give me a lot of money. Yeah. Sometimes it's very fun because people are very, very generous. And sometimes I used to say to the people, don't give me so much money, because sometimes they give me a lot of money. And for me, it's better for me. I prefer just playing in street. It's not more for the money. I do that, but yes, usually people are very, very generous with me.
What do you think about the new rule? The council says you have to change place every 30 minutes.
Yeah, I heard about it, and I think it's not so bad, because if I just have to move in another place, it's not a problem because I can keep playing guitar in the street. But if I have to play on this place and after 30 minutes just go 50 meters away, it's a little bit stupid, but if I can keep playing, for me it's not a problem.
So do you get choked like the parking after 30 minutes?
They never check me, but I hope so. They never will do that on me. But it could be fun. It could be.
Could you play us a tune? We'll make you famous.
Yeah. So I'm going to play a song about a man I met in Nelson. There is 3 weeks ago. His name is Gary, and he was very, very generous with me. And so I decided to compose a song about his life. But it's in French, so I'm sorry you can't understand the lyrics, but it's just talking about him and his life, because he have a full and wonderful life in the past in Europe.
Il y a des rencontres dans la vie, d'heureux hasards, c'est inouï, des mecs paumés qui te sourient. Moi, Nelson City, j'ai croisé le bon Gary, pas un radis, un sou en poche, mais le cœur tendre, un vrai Gavroche. Il n'avait rien mais on a bouffé, 2-3 clopes que l'on a partagé, puis quelques bières et du jaja, chope-moi ta gratte et on y va. Et si vous saviez, le pauvre vieux, sa chienne de vie lui a volé ses yeux. Et s'il jongle plus comme un dieu dans sa vie de rockstar sans monnaie, nous il nous fera toujours marrer à s'en taper le cul par terre en se mettant la tête à l'envers et toutes ces bières assassines. Encore une fois, il veut qu'on chine et taper plus fort sur le bois. Mon salaud, celles-là, tu les vois. Et jamais faut qu'on se freine à se jeter ivre dans la Seine. Et jamais faut qu'on se freine à se jeter ivre dans la Seine.
You're welcome.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.